All right, joining me today is someone very, very special. He's a captain, he's a leader, continues to be so for IPL franchises and other leagues in the world, was a captain of his national squad, and really still a leader among men. Faf Du Plessis joining me in today on Firstpost. It's so, I'm very privileged to be speaking to you. Thank you so much, Faf, for taking some time out.
Oh, thank you. It's good to spend time with you again. It's been a while, eh?
Yes, it's been a while. It's been a long while. But speaking about the last few weeks, you've had a very busy last few weeks and months as well, of course, with the health, as well as a very exciting weekend at the Formula One racetracks. How has the last few weeks been for you, Faf?
Yeah, the last 3 months has been obviously I had an operation on my arm, which was a bad tennis elbow that I played with for about 2 years. So it just got too painful to keep playing with it. So did the operation. So just been in recovery. It's a tricky one because it's quite a slow recovery. There's like for 2 months you can't do much, and then you slowly start putting some weight through it again. Obviously, a lot of rehab, a lot of physio. So now I'm at that point where it's still a bit sore, but the doctors feel like it's good to put some sort of load through it. T10 is not a lot of cricket balls, but obviously you're trying to hit the ball quite hard. So I'm using this a little bit just to get back into the swing of things, and just gauge on how my arm's feeling more than anything else. I think that's the priority now. Leading up to the SA League in January with the Joburg Super Kings, and then obviously after that it will be the IPL. So this is just to see if the arm just gets some mileage through the arm again.
Yes, a lot of wishes for you there, but a bit about spending time at the racetracks, at Formula One. So much of crossover, a lot of cricketers we saw there, probably more than Formula One drivers at one point. But how was that experience?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I was very lucky to. I did my operation in Qatar as well, so I managed to go to the Qatar F1 in Doha, which was amazing, where I got to meet David Beckham, which was probably the best day of my life. And then now I was lucky to go to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix as well. And I mean, it was crazy. It's amazing how they do it. It feels like the race itself or the sport itself, there's not much really there, but the entertainment around the race is really where I feel that they get it right as a sport. Obviously everyone goes there. There's a lot of very big celebrities. So yeah, once again, very lucky to have walked. They call it the grid walk. So I saw Shreyas there as well. He was there with the Red Bull team. But I mean, there's some incredible Jason Statham, Chris Hemsworth, all of the Pogba was there. So it just feels like you walk there and you go, okay, I shouldn't really be walking with these guys, yeah.
Wow, nice to hear you being starstruck for a bit there. Usually it's the other way around, but we have to speak a bit about the big tournament that just concluded in India. Faf, you were, of course, part of it in the commentary panel. You've observed a lot of the World Cups. I have to particularly ask you about South Africa's exit once again at the semi-final stage. I mean, I know this keeps coming in over and over again, but what is it about South Africa and the luck that always almost seems to run out at such tournaments?
Yeah, I think if you look at, first of all, you have to look at every World Cup and you have to go respect how hard it is to get into the semi-finals. I think that's the first thing that people don't really always appreciate. There's only 4 teams that get through, and there's a serious amount of quality in the World Cup. Teams that play there. A team like England not even making the semi-finals shows you that there's a lot of quality there. So to make the semi-finals, I think, is a huge achievement in the first place. And then when you get to the semi-finals, it's almost like the tournament starts. A new tournament begins all over. And I think that's where you look at teams like Australia and you go, they actually haven't been great over the last year in 50 over cricket. They haven't been amazing. Even the way they played during the build-up to the World Cup, they were a good team, but they weren't a great team. But when they get to the semi-finals and finals, there's a real belief within that team that they are just more experienced in big games than anyone else. And if you take South Africa on the other side of the spectrum, I thought they were incredible right through the World Cup. It's probably the best and most consistent South African team we've seen in a World Cup in terms of how they dominated some of the teams, similar to India. But yeah, the hurdle would be that last step or two, which is the semi-finals and finals, and that's the confidence that just lies with the opposition. They're just more experienced in playing those moments. They're better. They know better how to deal with those, those big moments. So it's one of those things that I believe that when the Proteas eventually do get to their first final, but then also hopefully win a final, then it will be a very big break through the ceiling moment for South Africa. And then I believe after that things will really start changing. But to break that mold and that thing that's always there, you're going to require a lot of things to fall your way. Luck, obviously in the past it's been weather, injuries, all those things. But yeah, for this tournament, I feel like the two strongest teams in playing big moments would probably be India and Australia. And once again, Australia proved that in the final that they just have more in the tank when it comes to those big games because they've been there so many times.
You've won the crown of thorns in the past as South Africa captain. What would you say, or what do you tell Themba Bavuma at this point, another captain? It is disheartening. It can really pull you down. What would you tell him at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I remember being in a similar position. I think you get back home and there's a lot of disappointment, a lot of anger, and some support as well from the true fans. I'd say true is probably the wrong word, but the optimistic fans. So you get all those different versions. So it feels, as a captain, you do feel like you wear the brunt of it, and that's how it should be. Highest trees always get the most wind. So that's generally your captain, your coach. So obviously, from a performance point of view, Themba was good as leading the side. But in terms of runs, you would know that he was a little bit light on it. So there would be that pressure from people in the media and talking about stuff like that. But yeah, my advice to him is just the storm will pass. It's you always feel like the world's ending, but it actually doesn't end. Soon you play in the next series, and then people tend to forget. So then it's back to making sure that you perform at your best. As a captain, it's always really important that you're performing. It's when, for obviously for us as batters, that currency is runs.